Well, sort of a last-second interview scheduled. Fan favorite, Guido here. So I guess the first best way to start it, why Guido over DiBenedetto? Why did you want to make that change?
That's actually what I've been called my whole life, what I'm accustomed to, because it's my middle name. So my family's full Italian, obviously. My full name is Matthew Guido DiBenedetto, and I've been called Guido my whole life. Anytime people found that out since I was a little kid. So that's actually my real my real nickname. You know, the DiBenedetto thing just kind of came about more
Reddit.
recently, and through like Reddit and fan-driven type deal. So I figured I'd just let people in on what my normal nickname, is that I've gone by my whole life.
Right. And the last time we talked was at Indianapolis, and it was just, I think there were 3 reporters there, and it was right after you announced you were leaving the 32 team. So what's the difference besides how well you're running with the 95 and the 32? Do you feel like you fit in better here and you're making more ground up than you were?
It just was a step, up for my career. I was fortunate and lucky and appreciative to, have all the opportunities I've had in the past. That's the only thing that's gotten me to where I am. I just knew I'd kind of done everything I could, driving for smaller teams and making the most of that with those smaller teams and with Go Fast and stuff, and they were great people. So it was just needed to take a step up in my career to try and, advance and run further up toward the front and keep climbing that ladder.
And so you're climbing that ladder. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is it with this team growing it and pushing it further? Do you see yourself winning a championship?
I'd like to, win races. That's the ultimate goal, and everyone wants to, win a championship. But winning races in the Cup Series, that's what we're gunning after. And I want to be with LFR for a long time to come. That's the goal and plan, and hopefully they keep me, because I know nobody will do a better job than me driving their race cars, and that's my job. But also I wanted to be here because I saw the dedication and how committed they were to being competitive and growing the team. So that's this is a team that can continue to grow. And I mean, we've already had some good runs. We had bad luck early in the year, but it shows our speed. We qualified 7th this weekend. We have a good car. Bristol, we were fast. Sonoma, we finished 4th and raced up there. So this team can grow. We're still young, but we can grow to a winning organization.
Right, and that was the next thing I was going to bring up, is you mentioned wanting to win races and everything. It seems like that's getting closer and closer by the week, where really, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but for you to be running so far up in practice and in qualifying, we've never seen that out of this team, even with a driver, like Casey Kane. So to come in and make that impact is pretty phenomenal. So do you see yourself winning a race this year is going to be my next question.
We've had a couple opportunities. Daytona 500 was a great shot at it for us. I think, winning a race is it's tough. In the Cup Series, you're going up against all the powerhouse teams, and we're still young and growing. So our goals would be top 10's a good day for us. But you want to, you obviously want to win a race, and we've had shots at it where we were in position, had the speed to, compete. We weren't like the Daytona, we were probably the best car, so that was a great shot. But so that's the goal and hope. Would be I'd love to sneak out a win here, but I think we're at a level where top 10s realistically are great days and a great goal for us to try and achieve.
Right. And one thing I've been talking with a lot of teams about today is how this PJ1 is going to compare to last year, where the traction compound was laid down then, but it was diluted by water because of the rain. And with this much heat today, about 130-degree track temperature, what are you foreseeing as the trend for the race, and what are you doing to prepare for that, knowing how much it's going to change from maybe running the bottom to being forced up to the top with this new compound? The new package, excuse me.
Yeah, so the top will be the preferred line, the third lane, so you'll want to run up there pretty much all day. The difference this year versus last year with this the rules package, basically the high downforce, is that track position is a lot more important. You can't drive through the field like you could, and you can't recover from mistakes as well as you could before, because it's tougher to pass in dirty air. So if you get stuck back in 20th spot, you're not just going to drive back up to first. If you're the dominant car, you get stuck more in traffic. And that's kind of the case for this year. You just get stuck more in traffic, and track position's way more important because of the dirty air effect behind behind people.
Right. And speaking of that, as someone racing for a team that's mid to high tier, it's not a 4-car team like Hendrick, it's a 1-car team that's running out there consistently. Is your goal today to go out and pass cars as much as you can and then hold track position, or are you out there, when you start that race, you're going to be fighting for your spot and capitalizing on others' mistakes versus forcing them into making them?
I think with us qualifying 7th, that kind of hopefully sets up your race to just try and stay up there all day. That'd be the goal, is to try and maintain, stay up there in the top 10 all day long and race up there, have solid pit stops, and stay up there in that top 10 area all day. So just be one of my friends, my old crew chief would say, just block and tackle. Basically, you execute, be smart, and defend and keep that track position that we were already starting off with.
What data are you taking from the other races, the wheel and modifieds, especially with how much downforce that they have, being 2 inches off the ground? I don't know if you saw that race or any of the trends of it.
Oh, yeah.
But what information are you gathering from a series that maybe it's open wheel, but it also carries over a lot of data?
Their cars are just so different that they. Their racing's just so different. It's fun to watch and really cool, but they, where we can't follow directly in the tire tracks people in front of us because we'll get so aero tight it'll feel like you have 4 flat tires. They actually can run right behind people because their cars don't create front downforce. They actually create, if anything, lift. So when they get in traffic, they can actually run still real well in the tire tracks of somebody. So. Where it's opposite for us. So they're, I can't really take much from it other than seeing the line they were running that was dominant, running up there in that 3rd lane, but that's pretty normal for here.
Right, and maybe the number of cautions, because those races were just...
Yeah, they were brutal.
Fest.
Yeah, that was brutal.
No words for Bonsignor and his move, but...
Yeah, I know it.
So... I know we don't have too much time, and I'm not going to, get in your way for preparing for race day. So I end off every interview with the same question. What was the first car that you ever drove, street car, and, give us a good story behind it?
First street car I ever drove was an really old Mazda. I think it was like an RX-7 maybe. But either way, it was like super old, and it was at a dirt track, and it was, I was 10 years old, and I was at the dirt track. I grew up racing that, and I hopped in it, and they used it to pack the racetrack. They would just drive the cars around the track and try and pack it in after they'd water it.
Right.
So I jumped in it, fired it up, and it was a manual. It was 6-speed, and I just kind of figured it out and drove it, and I was driving around the track, and then my parents were like, "Holy cow, is that Matt driving that thing?" And it was funny. They were freaking out.
I mean, how are you going to stop them? What are you going to do? Make them pull over?
Yeah, no, they just let me go. They knew I could get in and drive about anything, so they just let me go.
Well, hey, best of luck today. Good luck with the race, and we'll hopefully have a great ending for you today. You started out well, and we'll see how much you can capitalize on it.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Sounds good. Thanks.